Yo, what up? This is basically just a shout-out video to a guy named the Vegan Mojo. He's put up some great videos lately, and unlike myself, his videos are pretty lighthearted and entertaining, and they're about 5 minutes long, whereas if you come to my channel, you regularly get 20 minutes minimum of a fairly in-depth and exhaustive and exhausting set of reflections on vegan politics, activism, ethics, etc. So this guy has the potential to reach a larger audience than myself because what he's doing is a short format, lighthearted. I mean, he could change. But whatever. At the moment, that's what he's been doing. And in recent videos, more than once actually, he's addressed really the same topics I've been talking about on this channel.
So a lot of new vegans and social media enthusiasts would argue that social media is the best and most optimum form of vegan activism. Well, just because you prance around your bikini and you get people to eat a certain way doesn't necessarily mean you're making an overall change for the world. Initially, for that person and maybe their friends, yes, you are changing their lifestyle, but they can always go back to their old ways. And statistics do show that people do not necessarily stick to a vegan diet, let alone a vegan lifestyle. Now, this may benefit you because it allows you to work at home on the internet to promote a vegan lifestyle, but the bottom line is there's a lot more we can really do to help promote a vegan world. For instance, let's look at the situation that recently happened at SeaWorld. SeaWorld said on Thursday that it would immediately cease breeding killer whales, owing to mounting criticism by animal rights activists, regulators, and lawmakers over the treatment of marine mammals in captivity. Okay, so a big success for vegan activists, right? But there was nowhere in that paragraph that said thanks to YouTube or thanks to some diet or thanks to some person in a bikini that we're gonna stop breeding killer whales. If we really want to see change and we want to see a vegan world, we're gonna have to see laws being changed.
So the implicit contrast here is between political change explicitly articulated as political change, which includes, obviously, laws, legislation, and people who really, if they were smart, would present themselves as advocates of cultural change, who would claim that the cultural change is more important, more urgent, more attainable, or more effective than political change. Now, as I say, they would say that if they were smarter. In reality, there is no intelligent chorus of a vegan opinion calling for cultural change. There are just people calling for lifestyle promotion, people who call for diet, exercise, luxury, portraying the vegan lifestyle as seductive, high status, gratifying. And they think that if they make this appealing enough, that will be the impetus for a cultural transformation. Now, I can dream up a hypothetical opponent who would have something intelligent to say under that heading, but it's not Durian Rider, and it's not any of Durian Rider's fans or any of Durian Rider's followers.
How do you think that this is actually going to change people's behavior or change what is actually going on? Changing the policy, making new laws, it's not going to make much difference. We all know that it doesn't make much difference at all.
The chorus of opinion that has rallied behind the Adelaide vegans, people from Adelaide, Australia, have presented a totally incoherent argument why basically self-indulgence is the new politics, is the new, the political struggle of the 21st century is not on the picket lines, and it's not at Parliament, and, it's not even in opening vegan restaurants. No, it's just in the permanent vacation, just in this lifestyle activism, just in showing off beauty and boobs and bums and bicycles and bikinis and making that as appealing as possible. So it's not really even a debate I could have. But the truth is, if someone did intelligently articulate a culture-centered form of activism, then really my response to that would be to point out the extent to which cultural change and legal change actually are linked and reciprocal. And one of the most important things that laws do is simply in communicating information. It's quite misleading to say, for example, cultural change is more important than legal change, because even when heroin is illegal, people continue to use heroin. Even when cocaine is illegal, people continue to use heroin.
Take drugs, for example. So many drugs are illegal, yet they are still widely used.
Yes. However, when you buy a bottle of soda pop at a normal grocery store, you know for a fact it will not contain cocaine as an ingredient because it is illegal. It also will not contain ephedrine. It will not contain a number of other banned substances that could indeed be in soda pop. It's a well-known historical anecdote because of Coca-Cola that there was a time when soda pop was made with small amounts of cocaine. The coca leaf, instead of just having caffeine when it would be an ingredient. So yes, of course, the legal change really does matter. And it doesn't just matter in terms of how many people are using cocaine. It matters in terms of actually sharing and spreading the information that this is fundamentally bad for you. If people nevertheless make the decision after the government has very clearly communicated to them this is poison, if they choose to use that poison, that's totally different from living in a society where people sincerely believe that a given drug is not bad for their health. So the knock-on effects of this are immense, and many of them are informal and outside of the law, but do indirectly result from the law. If you're using cocaine, it's quite possible your landlord will take you aside and talk to you. I've already used on this channel actually the example of a school teacher who smokes cigarettes. It's not illegal, but it's very likely he's going to be told not to do this in front of the children. So in this way, I mean, legal changes such as laws that do not make cigarettes illegal, but really clarify to the public this is something they have to constrain, they have to struggle to quit, this is something unhealthy in no uncertain terms. This becomes a cycle of cultural change. And gradually we transform from a society that at one time portrayed cigarettes as a symbol of sophistication, of aristocratic status, of masculinity. When women first started smoking in the Western world, it was considered a bold declaration of gender equality for women to smoke cigarettes as equals with men. You know, this was to show you were a woman who was, employed as opposed to being a housewife, that you were an independent jet setter. Smoking had all these tremendous, powerful, cultural and symbolic meanings. And of course, they were also featured in the cinema and what have you. And to make the transition to a culture that regards cigarette smoking as a kind of ugly relic of an ignorant past, as something to be discarded, that is a tremendous cultural transformation. But the cultural transformation, step by step, is actually reciprocal with legal changes. And yes, you have to fight damn hard politically in Parliament, ultimately, to pass those legal changes, because there's at least one industry that's making millions of dollars out of cigarettes. In reality, with animal exploitation, with veganism, there are so many industries. There's such a large percentage of the economy, and those industries are so deeply rooted in the country. In most countries around the world. If you're talking about the dairy industry in New Zealand, the dairy industry is so closely connected to the government that to raise even warnings about negative health effects due to dairy, due to eggs, due to meat, this is actually a tremendous political struggle and a legal struggle. And yeah, it does go far, far beyond this kind of put on a bikini lifestyle activism.
The bottom line is social media is just strictly used for entertainment purposes, and there's a world outside of social media. Just because you think you have a large following or you think you're getting a lot of views does not mean it's changing the infrastructure of our communities. If anybody's been in a grocery store lately, we can clearly see that milk, eggs, cheese, meat, and all that stuff is still highly stocking the shelves. And don't take this the wrong way, because I highly support veganism on any platform, but I am not going to act like it's going to revolutionize the world. Every single human rights feat happened because we changed the law. It's that plain and simple.
I'm really gratified when I see some of the ideas and even some of the idioms I've been using on this channel being picked up by other YouTubers. So, I notice he uses the term, permanent vacation. He's repeating, and making use of some of the analysis I set down in my own earlier videos. And that's natural. I mean, ultimately, we're all sharing the same couple thousand viewers, which also, again, I don't really regard as a negative thing. On this channel, I have no pretense to reach a mass audience, and I don't even really have a pretense to reach new vegans, although I do. There are people who send me fan mail. Thanks, I got some last couple of days. I've continued to get fan mail from people who became vegan because of my channel, or people who were in the process of becoming vegan and came to my channel, and my channel was important to them in the transition in some other way. But in a few cases, my channel really was directly the cause for somebody converting to veganism, which is interesting. But of course, that's not really what I'm trying to do here. Nothing on this channel is introductory, right? It's all advanced. And what I'm motivated to do is not to try to take people who are completely hostile to veganism and try to make them less hostile or convert them to veganism or give them step one introduction to what is veganism. Instead, what I'm trying to do is make better use of the vegans we've already got, because I think we've actually got a constituency of really talented people who are scattered all over the world. Some of you are in Germany, some of you are in Israel, some of you are in Australia, some of you are in India, some of you are in America, etc. I think we do actually have a lot of talent, and it's not on YouTube, and it's not showing up at PETA conferences, and I don't blame you guys. I think every single one of you has good reasons to not be on YouTube. I think you have good reasons not to waste your time with it, not to expose yourselves to the kind of inane criticism and commentary, and not to expose yourself to danger in your own workplace, to put your own professional reputation in peril. I think there are a lot of good reasons why any person with a respectable job would not do what I'm doing. And in case you were wondering what my respectable job is, I'll have you know I've signed a contract to be a university professor in China for 1 year. In just 1 month, I'm flying to Asia eventually to start work as a professor at a university in China, where my salary works out to be about $850 per month. So in terms of people whose salary is lower than what you quite possibly could make through Patreon or through monetizing your YouTube channel, I might be in that select class of people whose salary is so low that monetizing YouTube might be tempting. But anyway, yeah, I will be earning next to nothing and having a fairly intense educational experience myself while living and working as a teacher, teaching university classes in the People's Republic of China soon enough. But the point in this video was basically to give a shout out to this dude, Vegan Mojo. And what I was digressing to say is, what I hope to do is galvanize people who already are vegan. I hope to inspire people to become more active, more organized, more politically effective, and more outcome-oriented. Because, in general, vegans are fractious and fragmentary. They don't have a lot in common with one another. There are a lot of barriers to get over for them to cooperate or work together. And it's hard for them to see common goals. It's hard for them to even form into units of 5 people who can cooperate. And ultimately, a lot of vegans are indolent. A lot of them are despondent. Veganism itself, my recent long talk, more than an hour long, with Zaria, you can see, there's real misery. There's real agony. There's real darkness in the vegan experience of the world. The sadness and sorrow are very real. So I think it's quite meaningful to reach out to those people, like including Zaria herself, but including whoever you people are watching this. And, we talk about our feelings. In that interview, we do actually reflect on, the sadness and the sorrow, and also to reflect on the potential for making positive change. Okay, so under that rubric, I'm here praising this guy, Vegan Mojo. He's had a couple of different videos recently where he really skewers the wishful thinking that so many vegans are indulging in when they think that YouTube is the magic formula for social change, and when they basically marginalize, ignore, or denigrate real political activism, real political change, real legal change. And the point this guy is making lately, he'll make other points. On his channel, he's talked about other things in the past, he'll talk about more things in the future, but lately, one of his points is to drum home with different examples. Look, the laws really do matter. Vegans wearing bikinis, not so much.
You can look at any type of human rights, and the reason why those changed for the good is because we changed the law.
You know, look at the case studies of recent legal changes and political changes that have made a difference for the lives of particular animals or for the direction of our society as a whole. Yeah, you know what? Actually lobbying the government for legal change matters. Now, I do have critics at a much, much lower level of intelligence who actually directly claim the exact opposite. I do have critics who come out and say, no, laws do not matter. I think for most people, this is just wish fulfillment. They just want to believe that their vacation in Thailand is not merely a vacation in Thailand. They want to believe their vacation in Thailand is saving the world, and it's not. They want to believe that their health and fitness blog is not just a health and fitness blog, it's saving the world, and it's the supreme form of political activism, and that it actually literally makes them holier than thou, and it doesn't. And of course, I mean, there are many things about that are regrettable, that set of attitudes. But among other things, it means that we can't just appreciate a vacation as a vacation because everything is laden with these phony political pretensions that really do a disservice to both sides. Like, it's both denigrating to real politics and it's denigrating to real athleticism or real travel blogging or real, anyway, whatever. You know, if you want to do restaurant reviews too, that's great. All these things can be great, but let's not fall into the trap that really people like Durian Ryder have set for us in 2016. He's the most prominent voice in proclaiming that politics doesn't matter, that real political activism doesn't matter. It does. It matters much, much more than lifestyle vlogging. And as I say, basically, I take my hat off. I could have worn a hat for this. Oh well, missed opportunity. I take my hat off to the Vegan Mojo because he's come out and said that really directly and strongly and stridently, and he's done it in a 5-minute format that I think with time will reach a lot of people.